won the British Grand Prix, and before we delve into the race, qualifying happened. Verstappen took pole. I mean, how did he get that car into pole considering, Red Bull were looking very poor in the practice? But to be fair, just like Lewis said in the post qualifying interview, Red Bull always do this. In the practice, they look struggle. They're all struggling in FP1, FP2. They might get better in FP3, but then when it comes to the qualifying, they might come out of nowhere. And Verstappen was fastest in sector 1, sector 2. Um, Brilliant lap from Verstappen. And then the two McLarens, second and third, Oscar and Lando. Fourth, Russell. Fifth, Hamilton, who was on track for a pole, by the way, because I think he was fastest in first sector, second sector, but he made a poor mistake in that final sector. I mean, everybody was making mistakes in that final sector, except Max, because obviously the wind, the conditions. Oscar made a mistake. Lando made a mistake. George made a mistake. Lewis made a mistake. Charles made a couple of mistakes as well. So it was difficult for drivers, top level drivers, in top level teams to get a proper lap in to be in contention for pole. Um, Kimmett only finished seventh, but he had a three-place grid penalty. Berman finished eighth, got into Q3, but obviously had a 10th place grid penalty because of the stupidity he did in the practice three, where he treated like red flag was not a thing in Formula. Is not a thing in Formula One. Um, and yeah, other surprises, not really. So yeah, that's it. So that's it. That was most of the highlights, I would say, from this qualifying. Let's delve into the race now, because that was actually very important. And what a crazy race! Honestly, that was a brilliant race because obviously there was lots of rain, the conditions. It was crazy. It was crazy. 52 laps. It was not easy at all for all the drivers out there. Um, and then the lights went out. But before the lights went out, that some teams were already pitting because at the time the race started, it was dry. But you could also see in some turns in some sectors of the track in Silverstone was wet. I think final turn was wet, or the turn before the last turn, I should say, and turn 2, turn 3, I think was wet as well. So I don't know why Leclerc and Russell and other team made that decision to pit before the start of the race. Russell was in, I think Russell was in fourth position, and they choose him to pit. I found it very strange, and they put it in for slicks for hard tires. Very poor strategy from Mercedes. Poor strategy from Ferrari, bringing on Leclerc. And the other teams, I don't remember who. I think Alpine, Colapinto got DNS. A lot of poor strategy out there at the start, and then there was a collision in the first lap between Lawson, and then bring out a safety car. Verstappen was still ahead of Oscar. Oscar still above Lando. Hamilton was closing in to pass Lando, but Hamilton didn't do that, and Lando kept his third position. And safety car came in. First, yeah, safety car, and then safety car. Like there was lots of safety cars in the first 20-25 laps. There was so many safety cars, and then Piastri made a great overtake, passing Verstappen. Lando also passed Verstappen as well, but you also say that Verstappen went over the gravel, and then into the pits. McLaren made a poor mistake with the poor pit stop for Lando, which put him back behind Verstappen again. And yeah, the strategy obviously, in the rain, the conditions, obviously you have to get the strategy right and get the pit stops right, which McLaren didn't do that in that sense for Lando. And Oscar, yeah, still despite that, Oscar, I thought he was amazing. Went past Max, and then he had I think a 15-10 second lead over Max and Lando. He was brilliant out there. I thought he was fantastic. But and then the safety car came in, because of I think something happened to Porteletto. Yeah, he crashed, and then again we start again, and then safety car again because Hajar crashed. A safety car came in again, and it was same thing, and then here comes the incident. Here comes the talking point that happened. One of the biggest talking points. Oscar Piastri. Now, Oscar Piastri, before the crash of Hajar and the first safety car, because there was also virtual safety car, but this was a real safety car. Safety car where Oscar, he slowed down. He slowed down to, make his tires very fresh and keep his tires under control, and that was okay. And it kept everybody like they were like, what's going on? There was so many cars out there, like, but that was like kind of Oscar was trying to be like, let's say, clever in that way. And then the second one, the guy braked and nearly ruined Verstappen's race. I mean, what was he thinking, Oscar? I heard people say that, oh, typical FIA, oh, British bias, oh. The FIA wants Lando to win the championship. I mean, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I know people say, oh, but what about George in Canada? Okay, let's look at the difference. George was, I think, 30 psi of brake pressure when he did that to Verstappen in Canada. So he didn't brake as hard as Oscar Piastri did, because Oscar slowed down by 166 kilo per hour on the hanger straight, causing Max Verstappen to avoid action in his Red Bull car. The guy nearly crashed into Verstappen. He nearly ruined Verstappen's and his own race. He applied nearly 60 of brake pressure. I'm sorry, if anybody says to me that's not a penalty, then I don't know what it is. That's a stonewall penalty. Stonewall. And he deserved that second place, second time penalty. He deserved it. I don't know why people are complaining. People saying, oh, look, Oscar was unlucky, yeah, okay, I agree, he was unlucky. Oscar Piastri had an amazing performance. He was I would say he was the fastest guy on the track, faster than everybody. He delivered an amazing performance. 10 second gap, 15-second gap, amazing. Went past Max. He didn't waste too much time trying to pass him. Amazing, fantastic. But despite that, the conditions were tough, and Lando was put behind Verstappen. So you can't put much blame on Lando, but you could also say Oscar was. You have to say, I think you should praise more on Oscar did that. So, but like Oscar delivered an amazing race, amazing performance. But I'm sorry, if you make a mistake, you'll get punished. If you do something stupid, you'll get punished. It's a bit like in football, where you could play amazingly well, you could create chances, you could play fantastic football, but if you make a mistake, you'll get punished. You could get punished, and that's what happened to Oscar exactly. He was fantastic, but he got punished because of a silly mistake he did. And listen, of course he was angry. Of course he was not happy with it after that, and he was asking to swap positions, which I'm gonna talk about. But listen, I even realized that after the race that it was not fair, and he just wanted a similar glimmer of hope. But I can understand why. It obviously is not right for Oscar to ask to if you can swap positions for Lando, because in my opinion the penalty was unfair. I'm sorry, but you can't say that. You can't say that, like, it's so petty. But I think Oscar, I can understand also, because when you're driving, you're angry, you think that it's unfair that you got the penalty, you're in the heat of the moment, high adrenaline, you're so upset. Of course, you're gonna try anything you can to do it. So I can understand it, even though I didn't like it as an Oscar fan. I understand it at the same time. And he realized that after the race that, oh, maybe I had what I did. He realized after the race that when he asked that it was not right, and I think when he gets back home, which I'm pretty sure he did, he realized the mistake he did. You realize that oh, I actually shouldn't have done that. I made a mistake. It cost me the win. And listen, of course, that win was taken away from him, but I'm sorry, but Oscar, you put yourself in that situation. You did this to yourself. You were amazing. You're fantastic. You were superb. You dominated like the first 20, 25 laps or 50 laps, or whatever it was. But I'm sorry, if you do mistakes, you'll get punished. It's what's happened, and especially in this kind of conditions, you need to keep your cool, keep your calm. Don't try to do something crazy, something stupid. Oscar was amazing, and he was faster than Max, faster than Lando, faster than everybody. But you make a mistake, you get punished. That's what happened, and he got a 10-second time penalty for that. Completely deserved, in my opinion. People say 5 second time, but I think because they gave that because of the purpose collisions and driving dangerously and unnecessarily. So I agree with the FIA decision and the stewards. I agree. I don't think there should be any complaints in my opinion. I'm an Oscar fan, but I have absolutely no problem with the decision. Because when I saw that replay from Oscar, I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Like, yeah, okay, Jordan did a similar thing in Canada, but the difference is Oscar braked too hard. What Oscar did was way worse, and he nearly ruined Verstappen's race and he nearly ruined his own race. So way worse, and then when the safety car finished again, Verstappen spun. Yes, you could listen. It had no impact on Oscar Max incident. No impact at all. But Max has spun, and he made like a couple of mistakes, which was unusual to see for a driver like Max. You know, we usually call him the Rainmaster, and the way he performed, I mean, he was fantastic in qualifying. In the race, he made a couple of mistakes. He did everything he can to keep the McLarens behind, but some of the mistakes he did, like winning off the gravel, and yes, obviously, that Red Bull car is a div, is undrivable to drive, as Max Verstappen said. But he made a couple of mistakes, and yeah, it's very unusual to see. But you can clearly see that Verstappen is very relaxed. You know, he knows that he hasn't got the car. He's not fighting for championship. He's relaxed, and he was very happy after the race as well, despite he had a disappointing result. And I'll say that why. I'll tell you guys why. So yeah, it was unusual to see. And then Oscar, he had that 10-second time penalty, and the guy who was behind him was Lando Norris. And let's be honest, Lando Norris didn't do anything special. He didn't deliver a special performance. But at the same time, in my opinion, he deserved to win. I don't care what anyone says. He deserved to win. Oscar was the fastest guy on the track. He's fantastic. But if you make mistakes, you get punished. And in the rain, you cannot do mistakes. You cannot do mistakes. You can't. And the only three drivers who didn't do that were Lando Norris, Nico Hülkenberg, and Pierre Gasly. And Lando Norris didn't do any mistakes. And by the way, if you look at his record on wet races this season, it's been amazing. I mean, because before this season, we used to say, "Oh, Lando always struggles in the wet races, Sochi 2021, Brazil 2024, etc." But I tell you what, this season has been pretty damn good. Winning Australia when he had so many things thrown at him, kept his cool, calm there, didn't do anything stupid. Miami sprint, same thing, and this race, same thing. Like, he was not leading the race, he didn't get pole, but he capitalized on others' drivers' mistakes, which you should do if you want to win the championship. And I give a lot of credit to Lando Norris for that. You know, I give him lots of credit. A lot of people say that